So you want to use social media to grow an audience and make money. Well, so does everyone else, and I'm sure you found out that it's a lot harder than it seems. That's why today we're going to talk about how to use social media to make money without ads. And stay tuned until the end where you'll learn the number one mistake most entrepreneurs make with social media. Hello, everyone. I'm Alina Bonn, a content marketer and creator of Effortless Engine. And today I'm joined by Mike Lemieux, a social media coach who has helped his clients make millions on social media. He's also a former director of campaigns at Disney and probably most importantly, Instagram husband to his lovely wife, Ashley Lemieux, who has over 424,000 followers on Instagram. So Mike, thank you so much for being on today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
I'm so pumped to be here. Thanks for asking me.
Now, Mike, can you give us all a little bit of background on what you're doing today with your business, Mike Social, and kind of tell us about your expertise?
Yeah, absolutely. It has evolved from when I started. You mentioned Disney. I used to run Instagram and all different types of social media platforms, influencer marketing campaigns for all different brands, some of the biggest that you've ever heard of in the world and small ones, and also apps. And it was great. But there came a time where I had to either move to Los Angeles to continue working with the company, or I could go work for someone else, or I could do what I'd always wanted to do and go start my own thing. So I got my courage up. I went and started my own thing, and I'm completing my 4th year in business soon. Everything's going really well. And I just realized that there's a lot of people out there that want to use social media to grow their side hustle, their business. They want to get followers so that they can be influencers too. There's so many different reasons why they want to grow a social media audience. And I've helped, like you mentioned, Ashley, myself, other people make millions. And so I created this business teaching people the fundamentals and strategy of both how they can do it on their own, and I also coach them one-on-one so that they can have a strategy and execute and make all the content and do all the things that they need to in order to grow. And yeah, it was kind of interesting. It kind of fell into my lap at the time. And that's when the best opportunity comes to you. And so if you're listening to this, and if you're an author or you're a speaker, whatever you may be, look at what's happening around you right now. Look at the situations that you're in, look at the things that you do every day, and think, what could I create that would make sense for the people that I'm trying to attract so that they would either feel educated, empowered, or entertained from that content? I call that the principle of the 3 E's. So let's just break it down for a second. So you're a speaker and you want to get more speaking gigs. You can create a sizzle reel that is 20 to 30 seconds long that has one of the most powerful segments of that speech that you gave a year, 2, 3, 10 years ago, however long ago it was. And you can cut that into a section that's anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds long if you're on Reels, up to 60 seconds on TikTok. And you can put that into a bite-sized piece of content that other people can look at and consume and feel empowered or entertained or educated. That type of content is going to be shared because people love to feel good that way. And you never know who's going to see it. You can also take that content and then you can send that over to prospective clients of yours if you're trying to book more speaking events. So that's kind of how I landed where I am now, just looking at what's available, looking at what people are wanting, and then kind of meshing the two and just going from there.
Well, Mike, thank you. I feel like you are just describing my service, Effortless Engine, and this was not a plug, but that's exactly that's exactly the service we do. We record the video from the speakers and chop it up and put it onto social. But Mike, I know that your expertise in social is just honestly unheard of. I want to talk a little bit about viral content. The hot topic. Everyone wants their content to take off and get everything that they need overnight. Can you tell us, have you ever created viral content and what is that like?
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone's definition of viral is probably different too. It's relative, right? Viral, like the most viral is when you can send a video to your sister or your mom or your college roommate or your niece or nephew or aunt or uncle or friend and they've already seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Different interests, different backgrounds, different behaviors, and they've already seen it, or they see it 3 times after you sent it to them. That's like the viral. But viral really just means any content that spreads. That's why they call it viral, right? Any content that spreads wide or deep.
Mm-hmm.
And the key to creating viral content is, like we talked about a second ago, picking a category or a niche and creating something that's either empowering, educational, or entertaining, that particular type of person, whether there's 1,000 people that would think it's funny or 1,000,000 people that would think it's funny, creating something that is going to make them feel something that they want to, good, cringy, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Something that's going to make their brain stop and say, wow, look at this. This is super interesting. That's the key. And then the second key is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few people ever that have created something viral and it was their first piece of content.
Mm-hmm.
There are some, but the majority of people who create viral content create it over and over and over because they stay consistent.
Mm-hmm. I was just having that conversation with the client the other day, and we put out one piece of content, performed really well. The next one, not as well. But that doesn't mean we should give up, because we don't know which one is going to take off and land. And that's what I was talking about. Even with my own content, sometimes I'll produce something that I think is so important and everyone needs to hear this. And then not a lot of people like it. But then another one I'll do, and it was just okay in my head, but it resonates with a lot of people. So the ones that really resonate with your audience, it's kind of a surprise, don't you think?
I do. And my wife and I will talk sometimes. She has a reel that has well over 4 million views now. And it took us probably 20 or 30 minutes to make. And we just laugh because we're like, out of everything that we've ever tried to create, that reel, I think it was just like annoying things husbands do. I honestly think that was the topic of the reel. That's the thing that gets over 4 million views. It's so funny because it's just relatable to people. They get it. And the amount of eyeballs that brought into her content was 4 million, right? So it's honestly crazy.
Wow. And so that reminds me of something, when you're creating all this content and some of the pieces aren't landing and some of them do. I mean, creating content takes a lot of energy, and you guys
Yeah.
are content creators. How do you keep motivated to keep creating original content? Do you ever feel like you ever run out of ideas or things are getting stale?
There's so much to understand when you're either on the content creation journey or just starting or even thinking about starting it, in that you have to be on all the time. It's not true. We do create a lot of content, but we like to batch it, meaning make a batch of cookies so that you have it for a week. Make a batch of reels or of stories or of posts. Hire a photographer. Go have your significant other or a friend take photos of you for a photo shoot. Create as much as you can so that you have it later. 6 months ago, I hired a photographer to do 2 photo shoots of me. And then in January, I did another one, and I'm still using that content because it still works. So you don't always have to be on. It does take a lot of energy and a lot of work to create original content. Something that's really neat is that you can create original content, but you can also absolutely and should participate in the trends. The best way to spot a trend too is by going through the explore page on Instagram or the For You page on TikTok and just looking at what other people are sharing, clicking the sound, seeing how many other people are making those or making videos with those sounds. And then you'll know, oh, there's a lot of videos here, or there's only 4. Maybe this isn't something that I want to participate in, but make it your own. There's nothing more annoying than when I click on a sound clip and the original person created a reel, and let's just say when your phone falls on your face while you're looking at it in bed, and it's like, bam. And
Yeah.
there's literally 30 other videos that are the exact same thing, same words, same song, same angles, everything. Make it your own.
Hmm.
And that's how you can use trendy things, but still being your own person and keeping it creative.
I think the biggest thing to creating good content is building the habit of creating content
Yeah.
and keeping track of when you're inspired and keeping, listening to your audience and asking them, what do you want from me? Because I'm
Yeah,
here to serve you, right? So, do you have a formula for social media success?
I do. This is a great plug also.
Okay.
Also, one of the things that I do is on Thursdays, I make that my content day. And so for 4 to 6 hours, I block out that time.
Okay.
Not everybody can do that. I couldn't until I decided that I wanted to, and
Mhm.
I didn't put anything else on my schedule on Thursdays.
Mhm.
That's literally how it came to be. I used to coach people on Thursdays, and I don't anymore at all.
Mhm.
It's only on those other days. So the key to success, we say social media, but let's specifically talk about Instagram. And this is something I'm about to say. It's been published in online articles and it came from someone who works for Instagram, but the formula is 4 to 7 reels a week, as of the time we're recording this, 4 to 7 reels a week, 3 feed posts a week, at least 2 to 4 story segments per day, and one IGTV or longer form video per week.
Okay. That's a lot.
Now, it is a lot. Starting smaller is perfect.
Mm.
I tell my clients, I had a client call this morning. I said, how many reels are you posting a week? She said, oh, maybe one. I said, okay, let's shoot for 2 or 3
Mhm.
over the next 7 days. And I literally helped her create the premise and the outline for all the reels. I told her the shots to do, and she's going to go make it. And then I said, how many feed posts? She said 3. I said, perfect, leave it there. IGTV, I'm not really a fan of it. So I kind of just skip over it.
Yeah.
And then stories should be anywhere from 2 to 10 a day. You can go 20, you can go 30. It just depends on how interesting the content is. But my plug was I call them Launchpad. Stories Launchpad, Reels Launchpad, and Social Sales Launchpad, where it teaches you how to create Reels easily, step by step. And I recorded my screen, and I'm even going through the process with you creating the reel so you can see me do it,
Mhm.
and you can learn, and it'll help you with content ideation, execution, captions, things like that, for reels, for stories, and for how to turn your bio into a passive income machine. So people will come to your profile and they'll say, oh, this is what Alina does, and this is how it's going to help me, and this is how I can learn more about it or buy it.
Mhm.
And that's what those 3 Launchpad courses are about. And they're very inexpensive considering what you get in it. Each of them lasts about 2 hours, maybe a little bit less. And it's the formula for
Mhm.
social media success. It's what I teach my clients, but I just decided to record it.
So talk to us a little bit about this passive income machine with Instagram. How does that work?
So when somebody arrives to your profile, and I actually have my phone right here, so I'll pull it up.
Okay.
When someone arrives to your profile, you can look at their bio, and you can
Mhm.
see and it's kind of blurry, but it says, I teach how to grow engagement, views, sales, and followers through one-on-one coaching and live group trainings.
Mhm.
So that teaches people what I do. Anybody who's been interested in learning how to grow engagement, views, sales, and followers is going to perk up. They're going to say, oh, how do you do that? Or looking for one-on-one coaching. Yeah, I've been looking for a coach. And then I say right below it, watch highlights and click the link. So my highlights have more information about what I do. They give my background. They talk about stories of how I got here, people that I've coached and trained. And then I have a highlight that talks about client success. I think you're in there several times. And we talk a lot about all these different things. And then they can go through and see, oh, this is what he's done for other people. This is what he could do for me. And this is how I get it.
Mhm.
And then if you click on the link, it has the links to the different Launchpad programs for real stories and sales, one-on-one coaching application, a webinar about something else. And you literally get people coming to your profile because of the content that you have made. They see your bio, they're intrigued, they look at your highlights, they click your link, and that's how the passive income happens.
And I can tell you, I set that up on my profile, and I've got clients from all over the world using that funnel for myself. So it definitely works, and everybody should do it. So, Mike, if you do set up your account like that, how can people drive organic traffic to their profiles?
Right now, the best way to drive organic traffic is through Reels,
Mm.
but you
Really?
have to do them the right way.
Okay.
Reels are the hottest thing right now for driving traffic, absolutely. But you have to do them the right way. That formula inside of Reels Launchpad is the best thing that I've seen. It
Hmm.
just tells you exactly what you have to do, gives you examples, gives you checklists for things that you make sure that you have, talks about the text overlay, where you should put it, your cover frame, your caption, music choice, everything.
I'm not going to lie, it seems overwhelming. It seems very hard and time consuming. How do people know it's going to be worth it?
If you look at the people who are succeeding the most, who are growing the most,
Mm-hmm.
they're consistently making reels.
Mm.
They're consistently creating stories. There's a saying that I always use whenever somebody tells me or they look like they're getting overwhelmed, because it is super overwhelming if you think about it. Like, how am I supposed to create 4 to 7 reels a week when I've never even done one, or I've done a few and they've flopped, like they did terrible?
Right.
But the question is, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. How do you hike up to a mountain? One step at a time. You just have to remember that you're getting into this new playing field and you've never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
But with practice and consistency and the right tools, you will be able to do it.
So, do you think it's fair game to say that people should focus on creating more original reels and don't even think about purchasing ads yet if you're not taking advantage of that feature?
So let's pretend that reels, stories, and the way that you post on your feed is the quality of your car,
Mm-hmm.
and ads are gas. And if you have a junk yard special car where you really don't understand how to create this content, your bio isn't set up as a way for people to learn more about you, and you start putting gasoline into this car, when you turn on the car, it's either going to explode, it's not going to turn on at all, or it's not going to be the right type of fuel for the car that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But if you build your vehicle, if you create content and you know how to create these reels and stories in your bio and your main feed posts in a way that will get people interested, then yeah, you absolutely should throw as much gasoline in there as possible and then start to do paid ads.
Right.
But paid ads or boosted posts are the type of thing that unless your machine is running smoothly, you should never touch them
Mm-hmm.
until you can get it running smoothly.
Right. Because there's so much you can do to optimize your account and get organic traffic, right?
Absolutely.
Mm.
People want to buy success. They want to pay money to have success, but with social, you don't need to put a ton of time into it, but you need to learn and you need to do enough. And
Mm.
that's why you need the blueprint.
Exactly. So, what's the biggest mistakes you see a lot of entrepreneurs make with social media?
I would say a huge mistake is a lot of them will hear what I'm saying and they'll just be like, well, I feel like this is good. Or they'll boost a post and like, I'll just put $50 behind this. And it does nothing. Like,
Mm.
it gets them all these impressions. And it's like, well, what happened to those impressions? What did it actually do for you?
Mhm.
Or they'll go research stuff on the internet, or they'll research other tips on social media, and they'll see, well, I got to figure out these hashtags. I got to know what the right hashtags are, or I have to post reels, and so I'm going to do this. But if they don't know how or what hashtags to use
Right.
or what content to create, then they're just going to go in circles.
Hmm. A lot of action, no results.
A lot of action, no results.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time today. It has been so valuable. And so, if people want to connect with you and learn more about the Launchpad and your other products and services, can you give us some more info on that?
Yeah, you can go to Mike_social. That's my Instagram account for my programs and everything you need to know is in the bio, in the highlights, and in the link.
Whoa, what do you know?
What do you know? It's all there.
Mike, thank you again so much. And if you are interested in discussing your content marketing strategy with me, please visit effortlessengine.com. We'll help you power your message into new territory. What are you waiting for? The world is waiting to join your journey.